What's up, guys? Anthony here, and welcome to the Born To Cre8 podcast. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, Born To Cre8 is a simple concept. If who, which maybe doesn't exist, you want to create the life that you want. So today, I have a special guest, my guy, Joey Taylor, aka JT. Now, JT is, first of all, I'm impressed that, at 22 years old, he's already trading stock options. So I want to get in and really talk to JT about how he started in a business and what prompted him to start so young, because most people at 22 are doing other things except starting a business. So JT, welcome to the podcast. Thank you, sir, for being here. How are you today?
I'm good, Anthony. Appreciate you for having me on.
No worries. So like I said, I'm super impressed that at a young age that you were able to really realize that you want something different out there, right? You wanted to create something different for yourself. So tell me a little bit, now I have your bio in front of me, but tell me a little bit about how and when you started to actually get into business and options.
Well, I'll start with business, man. Like for me, I feel like I've always kind of had that hustle in me, even when I was a kid. Like, I was flipping candy, like reselling Jordans in high school, things like that. So before I even had my own business, I feel like I was always an entrepreneur, right? So the way that the stock market and options kind of came around is I was 16 years old in high school. I was taking a personal finance class. And it was real kind of surface level stuff that kind of introduced us to stocks and like real estate investing. They weren't really teaching us how to do it, just kind of putting it in front of our faces. But for me, like I said, I was always a hustler, always interested in money. I saw that as an opportunity. Like this is actually how people really get rich and become millionaires. So all I needed was that surface level information. I said, I'm gonna dive into this on my own. So I kind of started doing some independent research at 16 about the stock market. And when I was 18 was when I finally got my first job delivering pizza for Domino's. So I was using that money to put into the stock market and also still kind of make some flips on the side. And as I continued to kind of fund my trading account with money from Domino's, I continued to grow my trading account to the point where I ended up making more from the stock market than I did from my job. So that's the point where I ended up leaving my job. And I was a college student at the time. I was in school for business. So at this point, I'm trading stocks and I'm going to school. Now, when COVID hit, that was when I decided I was going to take a break from school and really kind of go all in with the stocks and entrepreneurship. I said, if it fails, worst case scenario, I just go back to being a college student, right? But I felt like I wanted to take that leap of faith, while I'm still young and while I can still afford to kind of take that loss. So I created a community called Impact Investments, which is a Discord where I help other people get started with trading in the stock market, because as I was growing my account, I kind of started just sharing my wins on social media and they were getting a lot of attention. People were seeing me post these stock market gains consistently. So I'm getting DMs and comments like, yo, can you teach me? Do you have a class, a group, a course? So after I'm getting all these requests, I said, I'm going to finally go ahead and put something together, really just as a way to help the few people that are in my DMs and mentions. And at the time, I thought that was all it was going to be. But as I got these people in and started helping them, they got really good results and they started sharing with their friends. So it kind of spread through word of mouth. They brought their friends in and so on and so forth. So it continued to grow and grow. And now, Impact, we've been able to help over 1,000 people get started with earning an income in the stock market, help people pay off debts, buy cars, invest in properties, really just be able to build generational wealth. So that was in 2019 when I started Impact. So we're going on 3 years now. So the latest project.
I'm sorry. You did all this by the age of 22.
Correct.
Okay. So next project, what's that?
Yeah, the latest project I've been working on, this started in January of this year. It's an options flow service. So it's a trading software that I launched. It's called Capital Flow. So the way that it works, think about it like this. There's two types of options traders. There's going to be professional traders. So those are the guys that trade in office buildings, that have hedge funds. They have access to millions and millions of dollars to trade with. So those are the professionals. And then you have non-professionals. Non-professionals are like me and you. We don't trade for a company. If we trade, most likely we're at home just trading for ourselves, right? So the main difference between professionals and non-professionals is that those professional guys with millions of dollars, they have access to some of the best, most advanced, fastest stock
Right.
data, news, all that. They have access to insider information because when you're trading with millions of dollars, you can't be guessing. You got to have some high conviction, right? I don't care who you are, how much money you have. Nobody wants to just be throwing away millions of dollars guessing the trade. So that's why they have the highest win percentages.
Yeah.
So what my trading software does is it tracks the trades from those professionals and it's going to send them to the non-professionals in real time through their phone, their desktop, their lap, or the tablet, whatever device they're on. And then we can do what's called following the smart money. So they call those guys the smart money, of course, because they have that information. So
Yeah.
that's really the easiest way to get paid as a trader is just trade what those bigger guys are doing.
Wow. So I'm hearing you talk, and the first thing that comes to my mind is the show Billions, right? Because
Yep.
I'm like, these guys are playing on a whole level. And when you said that if you're doing millions of bucks, there's no guesswork. You can't guess, right?
Yep.
So, but that show really showed me how big this industry is. I mean, how much capital, how much cash they're playing with every day, and you're like on that level. I mean, your intelligence right now is just really flooring me, right? On how smart you are, and I know that you've probably studied like thousands of hours to get you where you are today. But let me go back real quick to high school, right?
Okay.
So you mentioned that you flipped Jordans and you said candy?
Yeah,
Okay.
As a kid, yeah.
So as a kid, so even as a kid, having that mindset is something that's super rare, right? Super rare. So I mean, every kid wants to make money, but I think like that most kids, most people, their first thought is like, I have to go get a job, right? I have to, go work somewhere and make money. But your first thought was, I need to create what I want for myself, right? So where did that mindset come from, in the sense that, you know what, instead of getting a job, let me go out and create my own?
Man, I think really kind of watching my dad, because he did have a 9 to 5, as I kind of grew up. But I remember in those early stages, he did have his own business, and he was making moves for himself. And I think just being able to see that, kind of instilled that in me. And so, like, really, as long as I can remember, I've been that way. I feel like it's just always in me. Some people it's natural, some people have to learn it. But like, I would be, 7, 8 years old. I get a birthday card, 10, $20 in it. Most kids want to go to the store and buy some toys or some candy. Like, I'm putting that in the dresser. Like, I'm saving money, like, for as long as I can remember.
Right. Yeah. That's good. So your dad was an example, and your ability to take a risk is also an example, because like I said, I mean, I know where you are. I remember me at 22, I wasn't doing as nearly, as what you're doing. So first, I want to, congratulate you and applaud you for that, right? And you also mentioned that once you started posting your results on social media, people started asking you to teach them, right? How'd that feel? I mean, how'd that feel to know that you're making an impact in people, and now they're coming to you for advice? And then what results have they seen from your advice?
So when I first started getting those messages, like, do you have a class? Can I pay you to teach me? Like, it kind of made me uncomfortable because I was really just sharing the results as like, this is what I'm doing. And, I'm just kind of putting it out there, hoping it would inspire somebody, not with the goal to like get people in to teach. And so when I first started getting those messages, I tell people like, no, I don't teach. I don't have any type of course, any
You're
class.
saying no at first?
I was saying no at first.
Oh.
I was saying people were offering me money too. And I was like, no, I'm just not comfortable with that. Right. But then I got to the point where I was getting so many people. I said, I'm going to put something together just for y'all. And I said, I'm not going to rush it. I'm going to really make sure I do this the right way, because this is a great tool to build wealth. So, I just want to make sure I can help people, but not just trying to rush it just so I can get y'all's money. I want to do it right. So it actually took me a little longer just to put my program together. I did it the right way. And by the time I had it together, people got in, and a lot of people were able to really kind of hit the ground running, because one of the benefits of having like a mentor or having a community, when it comes to trading options specifically, is you can learn from other people's mistakes.
Right.
Because there's a lot of industries where they say like, just get started and learn from your own mistakes. Trading the
Yeah.
stock market is not a place to learn from your own mistakes, because if you're learning from your own mistakes, it means you're losing a lot of
It's
money.
a lot of money. Yeah. Yeah.
It
Right.
means you're
Right.
losing money. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you definitely want to be able to learn from somebody else's mistakes if you get the chance when it comes to
Yeah.
learning how to trade stocks and options. So like I was saying kind of a little bit earlier, man, we've helped people do a lot of things. We helped a guy get his first investment property
Wow.
last year, around the beginning of last year. We've helped people save up, like to hit their savings goals. People have saved up their first 10,
Yeah.
20, 40, $50,000. People have been able to leave their jobs and actually go full time with trading. And in some cases, there's people who might not be full time traders now, but they went from working full time to now working part time. So they use
Right.
that extra free time to trade and travel and just, enjoy life. So
Right.
it's a blessing. Like, it's still crazy for me when I think about it, because this is a decision that I made in 19. I said, I'm going to put this together and I'm going to try to help these people the best I can,
Right.
and put a lot of work into it, and seeing the results. It's mind blowing. Every time I talk about it and think about it, it still blows my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, because when you have something of value like you do, it's I mean I think it's a disservice not to actually put it out there, because people need help, people want help, and they're looking for mentorship, looking for guidance, and people like you who actually have the knowledge to put out there. You're right, it's a blessing, and it's not just about the money, because from what I hear, you're making a massive impact on these people, because if they're able to quit their job, work part-time, buy investment property, just make a little extra, that's actually a blessing. And it's what we need, because a lot of people that I've met, they're afraid of selling, they're afraid of putting out courses, they're afraid because it's just fear. But if you have something of value and you don't put it out, it's a disservice. If you have something generally that can help someone, then you should sell that product, right? You should sell that course. So good job in actually doing that, because I mean, I know it may have felt funny at first, but I'm sure now it feels a lot different, because you see and feel the impact that you're making. I mean, impact over income, right? I mean, you make an impact, eventually you will have the income that you want, right? So
Like you said, oh, I'm sorry, I'm gonna cut you off.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like you said, man, like a lot of people have something of value that they can't put out. They're just scared,
Right,
because usually it's because they want it to be perfect first. They're like,
right,
what if I put it out and somebody doesn't like it, or there's a
right,
flaw here? But like, the truth is, when it comes to like entrepreneurship and business and really just putting your product or service out there, you can't spend too much time trying to make it perfect before you
right,
launch it. Because if you
right,
do that, you're never going to end up launching it. So
right.
what I realized, you have to just put it out there as is, and then you can just make
Yeah,
improvements as you go.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, so I mean, even me being in business for a while, I still at that point, what? Is it perfect? Is it ready? Should I put it out there? But when you put stuff out there, the market will tell you what they want. So you can improve it by the feedback that you get, right? So it's like, you're right, just put it out there and then make improvements, make adjustments, because the market will tell you, if they like it or don't. So if you put out this massive course that you took, 2 weeks, a month, or a year to fix, and it's not being accepted by the market, you wasted all that time. So put it out there and test it, right? So that's one thing that we're doing now, is that we have a product that can help people make money. And instead of putting together the whole thing, we're putting it out there, even though it's not complete. But then based on the feedback that we get, that's when we'll go back in and adjust. But the goal is to put it out there, and make it happen. So good job. So from this point on, like, where are you looking to go from here? Because you have the software, and what's next for you?
So like, my software is still new, right? So I'm still working on building that out,
Yeah,
but I want to get that to a point to where it can kind of be automated and it can run itself. And then from there, I really see myself continuing to grow in the fintech space, right? With this fintech software that I now have, it's kind of opened my eyes to how many opportunities really are within this fintech space. And it's not something
yeah,
that I realized before, And, because just to get into the fintech space, it can kind of cost a lot of money, right? The price tag is what keeps a lot of people out. Um, but if you are able to, kind of put up that money or get a loan and be able to get in that door, there are a lot of
Yeah.
opportunities. And I was blessed enough to be in a position where I could put up my own money to start my own fintech. And now I'm able to meet people that either have existing companies or just kind of have ideas.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of ideas from people that they're really great ideas. Like these people are geniuses, but they
Yeah.
just don't necessarily have the funds to be able to actually get in that space, especially, people that look like us, in our community, it can be
Yeah.
harder to kind of get funding. So a lot of their ideas just never see the light of day. So as I continue to grow in the fintech space, I want to grow as a creator and an investor. I want to be able to fund other people's ideas and help bring those to life. So that's one of my main goals for the fintech space. I'm also looking to get into the real estate space soon. I don't have any skin in the game right now when it comes to real estate, but that's always been one of my goals, just because I believe that real estate is a must-have asset class when you talk about really building that generational wealth.
Right. So that's amazing. Is that I'm just constantly floored by you. So what exactly is fintech? I have no idea.
Yeah, so that's going to be
Financial
technology.
Okay,
So like a banking
gotcha.
app, like a trading software, things like that.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So real estate is an amazing vertical. I mean, that's actually why I started, and then just watching how it can help you build wealth and how it help set up. I mean, right now, what you're doing is that you're setting up. I'm not sure if you have kids now, but you're setting up a legacy, setting up a platform for your kids in the future. And all the plans that you have are truly amazing, right? How many people right now are in your community?
We have about 800 people right now.
Okay. And yeah, so 800 is a lot, right? And you're feeding them and you're giving them what they need.
Correct.
Right? So as far as fintech, so is that the actual app you're building now, or is that actually more involved in that?
Yes. So the Capital Flow software, like I said, for now it's still the site, still a website, but the app is coming soon, and I'm kind of looking to really turn it into more of like a financial hub. So there's going to be a lot more information. Right now, it's the options flow service. As far as the community, that's on an app called Discord. You might be familiar with that. Yeah. So that's a Discord platform.
Okay. So it seems like that there's been nothing but success in your journey, right? So tell me about the journey, right? So I know in options, in stocks, you can lose money quickly, right? So what are some hurdles that you had to overcome in getting to where you are now? Because I mean, if it's been perfect, I mean, tell me, but if it hasn't, tell me something about a few roadblocks that you've had.
No, definitely hasn't been perfect. I don't want to make it seem like I only win, because I've taken my fair share of losses, especially in the beginning when I really didn't know what I was doing. But like really when I first kind of started trading consistently, putting money into the market consistently while I was still working a job, my problem was I just didn't have an actual strategy. I was just trying to make as much money as possible every single day of the week. And that's a lot of traders' problem. Like you got to be able to pace yourself, right? So you can start small, and you can start by making $20 a day, $50 a day, $100 a day, right? So just something small. So that's what I had to realize. Like I was losing a lot of money just trying to get rich, trying to flip my entire account, pretty much trying to double, triple my money every day. So losing thousands of dollars. But once I got that system in place, I said, okay, I'm gonna start with like between $4,000 and $5,000. I'm gonna try and see if I can make $100 a day. And I got pretty consistent at making $100 a day. It took a little bit of time. It took about a full year, and then I got to a point I said, okay, I'm gonna up it, see if I can make $1,000 per day. So then I started making $1,000 a day consistently. Then I get to $10,000 a day. So, and this is in the course of like couple weeks or a few months. Like this is years in the making. This is over 3 years now.
Yeah.
So you got to be able to stay patient and pace yourself and understand that trading is a long-term game. It's a long-term process. It's not something that you're going to come into and get rich overnight. If you try and treat it like a get rich quick scheme, that's how you end up going broke.
Yeah. And I've seen that a lot, because when I hear people talk about the stock market, it's like, put money in and you'll get money back like instantly. And I know in a real business, that's not accurate, right? I mean, you have to do the work, you have to have a strategy, and you have to be patient while being consistent, right? And even though you're not always on the winning side, you still have to be consistent and know what that goal is, know what you want to create, because there will be roadblocks along the road of creating, right? And it seems like even though you hit a roadblock, you kept going, right? You kept going, didn't give up. And that takes someone who is mentally and spiritually tough, right? How do you prepare your mind for trading? How do you prepare your mind for overcoming roadblocks? So what are some of the tools that you use to actually keep your mind going and stay positive despite some things that happen?
Yeah, so one of the things that I really did was keeping that end goal in mind, for one, keeping in mind what I'm working toward. And when I set that end goal, I knew it's not going to be easy to get there. I know there's going to be challenges, there's going to be losses, but I knew more important than that, it was going to be worth it. Once I get to the point where I can make thousands of dollars from trading and I'll really be able to be financially free and control my income, I said, that's what I'm working towards. So all those losses, like I just reminded myself, this is going to be worth it in the end. I think that was probably my biggest thing. And also really being able to talk to people, right? So that's another one of the benefits of having a community, because if you're trading by yourself and you take a big loss, like you're just gonna kind of sit with it and keep it in your head, and then it can really kind of depress you a little bit. So being able to have a community to lean on and say, like, hey y'all, I just took a big loss. I lost a few $1,000s here. They can talk to you like, I made that same mistake before. Here's what I did differently. Here's how, you can kind of try to avoid that going forward. And just being able to talk really was something that helped me. It's something that still helps me, because I still take losses even today. And, some of my partners that I run my community with, we make sure we check in with each other really at least every other day, sometimes every single day. We're just checking in, like mental check-in, not even talking about business. So because mentality is such a big part of trading. So for me, that was a big part of it also.
Yeah. Heard someone say, I think it was maybe a month ago, is like, when I teach people how to trade, I tell them don't trade if they're going through something emotional, right? If something happened in their life, if they're upset, whatever, don't trade, because you would probably make a not so smart trade. Do you follow that's the same mentality? It's like, if something's going on, do you trade?
Yeah, I think that's true. That's a very true statement. Like, because trading is such a mental game, you have to be able to, they say, leave your emotions out of the market.
Yeah.
So if you are going through a tough time emotionally, there's a pretty good chance it's going to reflect in your trading, and it's not going to be good. And that doesn't even necessarily mean you're going through a bad time emotionally. Like, you could be something, you might have just got some really great news and you're super happy, your emotions are super up, and you come into the market. Yeah, you come to the market super excited, and you think, oh, I'm about to hit the biggest trade of my life, and you put your entire account on something, and now you lose. So like, people think that only means like when you're sad or something is going bad, don't trade. Like, that could mean if something is going really good, you need to stay out of the market too. So whatever, good or bad, like, if you don't feel like you can properly check your emotions before entering the market, just sit out.
Yeah, that's true. And people underestimate the power of community, right? Because when you are going through something, sometimes we think we're the only person that's going through that or having that experience, but that's not true. There are other people out there that are experiencing the same thing that we are. But once we decide to reach out and share our story, share what we're going through, I believe that gives us courage, because we know it's not just us, and we help each other. So the fact that you mentioned community is massive, because it's vital to our success. It's vital to our livelihood. For me, it's like a breath of fresh air, knowing that other people are having the exact same experiences that I am. right? So to me, it's major. So talk to me about mentorship, right? So for you, what is the value of having mentors in your life?
Mentors are huge because, like I was saying, being able to learn from other people's mistakes is so valuable because that's something that really expedites the learning process, whether it be with trading, whether it be business mentorships. Like, if you just come into a business and industry and you have no idea, you don't know anybody that's doing what you're trying to do or is at where you're trying to get to, then you're just going to be kind of figuring things out on your own. And that's just going to take a lot longer versus you can talk to someone that's already done exactly what you're trying to do and say, hey, how did you get to that point? And that's why I say, like, having mentorship is key, and like being able to pay for mentorship is key, because if you can pay someone that's going to give you 2, 3, 5, 10 years worth of experience and you have zero, that's going to be huge for whatever you're trying to do.
Right. So I agree, right? Because there are people that, and it works, but they rely more on YouTube University. I mean, YouTube is an amazing platform, but I believe it's going to get you so far, right?
Exactly.
And based on what you've spent personally on mentorship, what do you estimate the return to be as far as percentage, right? As far as I spent this much on mentorship, but I got X amount of return on that.
Thousands and thousands, bro, because like for me being in the fintech space, that's something that's new for me, right? And for me coming in the fintech space, there were a lot of questions that I had. It was just completely new space for me. There were a lot of things that I didn't know, but I was able to lock in with a mentor and someone that can kind of lead me and guide me, like, hey, this is how you got to navigate through this situation. This is how you got to start this, like, like legal and things like that, especially. Like, that saved me thousands of dollars. It saved me hours and days, really, of time. So it's invaluable. Like, I'm always appreciative of that.
Is about yeah, and it is. I mean, like you, I mean, it saved me so much, and I just want people to understand the value of that, because there's this old pastor named Fred Price, right? He passed away a while back, but they're talking about investments and mentorship, and most people say, I can't afford it, but he was saying, no, you can't afford not to. Right. Like, if you have these goals, have these visions, have something that you want to create, you have to invest in it. Right. And I'm sure there's something in your life that you can cut out. And if you had to save up, because we invest in what we want, we buy what we want. Right. And it's like, if you want it bad enough, you will find a way to get it. I mean, we find a way to get those shoes, that purse, that whatever it is, we find a way. So it comes down to how bad do you want it, right? And when you invest in yourself, if you take it seriously, then everything you want can come to pass, right? But for me, it's about taking massive, consistent action every day, and I believe that getting to that next level as far as business and career is just a small tweak. Right. So I tell people all the time, is like, you don't have to look to change your life overnight. Right. You just improve 1% each day, and then do that over a course of a year, and 2 years, and 3 years. And you go from making $100 a day to $10,000 a day. Right. Because I'm sure that you didn't just, like, say, jump from $100 a day to 10K overnight, over a week. You improve a little percentage every day, and now you're at a place where you are, right? And I'm sure you have bigger, better goals.
Yeah, it's crazy because I just posted on my Instagram, like, I think like a week or two ago, where I actually went back, because I still have it on my account. Like, when you scroll back, you can go back to like 2018, 2019 and see where I was making $50 a day, $100 a day. And then you look at, like, now 2022, I'm making, $10,000 a day. So I just kind of like made a carousel, like, this is where I started making $100, and go a couple years making $1,000, now 10,000. So it's definitely a process, and it's not overnight.
Yeah, it's definitely not overnight, but you're doing it, right? So there are people watching right now who want to get into the space of options, right? But they've heard that options is the most riskiest part of stocks, right? Is that true? Is that not true? Or talk to me about the risk factor options versus anything else.
There's definitely a lot of risk when it comes to options, especially if you don't know what you're doing. You can lose a lot of money really fast.
Yeah.
So I say before you even start trying to trade, you need to educate yourself, right? And like you said, you can kind of do YouTube University and figure things out on your own, but that's only going to get you so far. And if you do want to get to a point where you want to do this seriously and maybe possibly become a full-time trader, that's when you need to go and look into investing into some mentorship, right? And one thing I say that could have made a big difference for me that I probably should have did when I started, but I didn't do, is paper trading. So paper trading is basically is simulated virtual trading. So you can create an account with like Thinkorswim or Webull or some of these other trading platforms, and you open what's called a paper trading account, and they'll give you $200,000 of fake money. So you're not actually risking your real capital, and you can really just practice, right?
Yeah.
And like they say, practice makes perfect with any skill that you want. But if you're practicing with your real money, then you're going to be losing bread. So practicing with the paper trading account is something that I wish I did when I started.
Yeah.
And it's something that I now encourage a lot of other beginners to do as you're learning. Yeah. So you don't have to risk your real money.
Right. So either you pay a mentor $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, or you go in and don't pay a mentor, do it yourself. Either way, you're going to pay. All right. So you may as well pay for the advice that's going to get you where you want to be. Right. So
people think they're like saving money if they're not paying for them. They say, I'm gonna just save my money now. You might be saving a little bit of money now, but you're gonna cost yourself way more later down the line. So it's like you just gotta put that bread up from day one. And it'll be worth it.
Mentorship is super important to society. I'm still on this subject because it's just so important. It's just so vital. I mean, the best thing you can do is invest in yourself by investing in the mentor, because someone who's been there, someone who's done that, someone who's made all mistakes, and you still make your own mistakes, but you will make a lot less mistakes by investing into a mentor. So it's super important. So someone wants to start trading, right? So give me like the first 3 steps of just starting to trade options.
Yeah. So the first thing you want to do is you actually want to have some money saved up to the side, because I tell people, you don't want to be trading. You don't want to be trading with bill money. Like you don't want to trade with your rent money, your grocery money, because then you come in the market with the mindset of I have to make these flips, or I'm not going to be able to pay rent, or I'm not going to put food on the table. Like we talked about, mentality is such a huge part of trading. So if you come to the market like that, you already have a losing mentality. So make sure you actually have a decent kind of stash put up. You can really get started comfortably with somewhere between $500 and $1,000, kind of at the bare minimum, right, to start trading. So once you have that money put away, you need to know what kind of trader you're going to be. So there's really 2 types. There's day traders and there's swing traders. So day trading just means you're buying and selling that option contract in the same day in that 9:30 to 4 p.m. window when the market closes. Now, I really like day trading. The pros of day trading is you can kind of have a quick trading day, right? So you can have those 10, 15, 20-minute work days where you're just in the market for a little bit, you make your bread, and then you're out. Now you get the rest of your day to enjoy. The con of day trading really is it's more active. You have to actually have that time to sit there and lock in and manage those trades. And so a lot of people don't even have 20, 30 minutes because they might be a student or might be working. Yeah. So if you are someone that doesn't really have that free time, then you can be a swing trader. And there's still a lot of good money to be made. Yeah, go ahead.
1 second. You said 20, 30 minutes?
No, I'm saying like it might be 20, 30 minutes of being in the trade, but you still might need a little longer to actually find it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, you can still be a swing trader. So when you're swing trading, that just means you're holding the position overnight. You might be holding it for a few days, few weeks, few months. But the benefit of swing trading is you don't have to be sitting there at the screen looking at the market. You just need to buy it, and then you just hold it for however long you're going to hold it.
Okay.
The con for me with swing trading is when you're holding positions overnight, something could happen with the market, with the company, and you could lose all your money and you don't have any control. For example, like if you're holding a stock, right, thinking it's going to go up, the trade might be going good for you. Then one night, the CEO of the company, he just comes out and says, hey, I don't want to work here anymore. It's a terrible company. I hate it. And then you're going to lose all your money over something you can't control.
Yeah.
So that's why I rather like to be in and out of the trades versus trying to hold them for a long time when something could happen, right? So once you kind of know,
Yeah, that actually happened to me. I was I was trading the stock. It was semiconductors, right?
Okay.
And I was up like maybe 15%. It was going good. I'm a hold it until it was a Friday, right?
Okay.
I'm gonna hold it until Monday. Monday came, and that thing tanked. Right, it's like it tanked. So what you're saying is true, because I mean it wasn't a bunch of money, because I mean I don't really know stocks that well. I was doing leverage ETFs, right?
Okay.
And I was just learning, but I was just testing with like, a couple $100. But yeah, what you're saying is right. I mean, you really have to learn, and you really have to have a strategy, because you can lose cash quickly, right? So yeah, I just want to just put that in there because I learned from experience, right? I learned from experience.
Yeah. It happens. And I think I said I'm gonna give 3 steps. So that was 2. So the last step I give, once you kind of have that bread put up and you know what kind of trader you want to be, day trader, swing trader, the next thing you need to do is set a goal for yourself. And this is where a lot of people mess up, because their goals are not realistic at all. Like someone comes in the market with $500 and they say, I want to turn this $500 into $50,000 in 1 month.
Right.
Now, is that possible? It is possible. I've seen crazier things happen than that before. But the problem is someone says, I want to turn 500 to 50,000 and I don't want to take any risk. I want it to be kind of risk-free. Like, bro, there's no way you can make that kind of flip without taking crazy risks really every single day, right? So you got to set a goal for yourself. Your goal is going to be based off how much you're starting with, where you're trying to get to, and what time frame you're trying to get there in. And like I said, the most important thing is to just be realistic. And a realistic goal for most people is to just have consistent income coming in over long periods of time, right? So I'd say, it's going to be kind of different for everybody. But if you are starting with that 500,000, like really you can try to grow your account by 2% every single day. Yeah. And 2%, that doesn't sound like a lot, but what you get is that compound gain. So, you get to a point where, when you have $1,000, 2% is not much, right? When you get to a point where you get your account to $10,000, now that 2% is something. Now imagine you got $100,000 account making 2% a day. You can be a full-time trader at that point.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. It's a friend of mine is a full-time trader, and he was telling me the same thing. He was like, well, I think he was like 2% as well. But just imagine that these guys who they trade millions of bucks within minutes and hours, right? So if they get 2% back on a couple million or 20 million, I mean, that's a lot for them, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, that's just crazy to think about it, how you can actually build that up, right? So you kept saying trading strategy. What exactly is a trading strategy?
So a trading strategy is how you get from point A to point B, right? Which is being profitable, getting profit, right? So my personal strategy, and the one that I've been using for the past couple of years, is just using options for, like we talked about, following that big money, following those multi-millionaire traders. I think I've used a lot of different strategies. There's hundreds of strategies out there. There's lots of ways to make money, right? But I think the best one is just being able to follow what those big traders are doing, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that have the best data, that have the best information. they've done all the research. So I'm not really having to do a whole lot of research to find a trade. I can just come in, see what they're buying, and already automatically know where the best trades are. So that's really my strategy of getting from point A to point B.
Yeah. So will it be inappropriate if I ask you how you got connected with these, like how you get that data? I mean, how you connected with the actual big money traders?
Yeah, so I'm not actually connected with them as like I know them, but all those trades on the market, that's public information.
Okay.
I mean, it goes, it all goes into a database.
Right.
But to actually tap into that database, it goes into it's a company called Opera that has it. And you actually have to pay a fee. You have to pay, kind of significant amount of money just to access it. And then to redistribute it again, like, which is what I'm doing, which is redistributing it to people. That's another fee on top of that for me. So, I do, there's a couple different companies that I go through to get it and then redistribute it to my customers. But I will say one thing that I'm doing with Capital Flow, one of my goals is to keep it affordable. So it only costs $35 per month, which is about, kind of about $1 per day. A lot of these other similar services that I've seen, they're going to charge you hundreds of dollars per month. But, with me, I want to keep it affordable, keep it effective, and keep it simple to use. So there's some steps for it for me, but the end user, for $35 a month, they get access to all that data, all those big money traders. And it's really the simplest way to make that profit.
Okay. And in closing, I want to ask you, how do you stay so focused?
I have people that kind of keep me accountable. The people that I work with, we keep each other accountable, because there can be times where I feel myself kind of slipping, or, that I'm losing focus, that I'm not as tapped in as I need to be. And, I kind of communicate that with them. And then, they let me know they can kind of pick up things in certain areas if I need to take some time to get my mental reset. Because when I first started entrepreneurship and business, I'm just trying to go 100% every single day. I quickly learned that's not sustainable, right? It's not sustainable, especially if you get to a point where, your business is growing so much and there's a lot of different tasks that need to be done. You got to be able to hire other people and put people in the right positions. So there are still times where I kind of can lose that focus, and I'm able to, kind of delegate tasks for a little while I'm able to just kind of rest my mental and reset and then get back to it.
Awesome. Okay. So I know people are going to be wondering, how can they find you, where you at? So tell us, how can we find you, your website, social media? I mean, anything you have, how can we find you and connect with you?
Yeah, so I'm on all social media platforms: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. It's at the Almighty JT. You can go there. I got my links for my trading group. I have the links for my options flow service, my software. It's all in my bio. Really, the best way to kind of stay connected with me is Instagram. That's where I'm posting every single day. So definitely follow me on IG.
Okay, perfect. All right, guys. So you guys heard it from JT himself. It's about community, being consistent, and being patient. All right. So that's something that you really need to look at as far as what you're doing in stocks or what you're doing in life, right? Community, consistency, and patience. So I want to thank you, JT, for coming on the show. It's been truly a blessing hearing from you. And just know that I'm rooting for you. I'm in your corner. I mean, keep doing what you're doing, because you do that, you're going to create something so massive that you will be known worldwide, right? So keep going and keep creating. All right. So thank you again. And for all you guys watching the show, ask you, what do you want to create? I mean, what is something that you want to create in your life? Something that you want to build, something that you think about every single day. Because if you can dream about it, you can create it. But it's up to us, it's up to you to create what you want. Will it be easy? No. Will it be worth it? Yes. But it's something that you can definitely do. So keep moving, keep creating, and we'll see you guys on the next episode of Born To Cre8. Bye.